system?
First of all, we need to clarify what we are meaning by Stanislavsky system today, because I do remember a meeting with some Swedish innovative director and teacher, and with a sad face he came to me and says, are your teaching is still based on Stanislavsky? And then I asked him, are your physics is still based on Isaac Newton?
Yes.
So if we are talking about Stanislavsky system as a kind of a name of a territory which is looking for objective laws of actors' behavior on stage, then it's never-ending journey, never-ending research of human psychology, physiology in some specific situations. And then you could find a crossroads of Stanislavsky system with any other teachers who are moving in these directions. Just to clarify my thought, let's compare this with kabuki training. It's a very fascinating actors training, but it serves for the needs of some specific aesthetic system. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
They are not interested in finding objective laws connected with how this machine of flesh and body operates. It's interesting that in kabuki theater, it's not they are very much family-based training. It's not father who is passing information for a young disciple, but grandfather.
Yes.
Because the main philosophy and the main idea to keep alive the heritage of 16th century theater.
So would a student coming to the academy, would they actually work on Stanislavsky texts? Would they look at his books? Would they use the exercises? Or only in a more loose way?
Well, they will use these exercises through the practice of their teachers, because in Russia there is a certain difference between something which is fixed on the paper in Stanislavsky writing and a live tradition of teachers. The last is richer and embrace more of Stanislavsky experience rather than he was able to put into his books. And different people who are in this territory are saying the same thing. Lev Dodin said that an artistic head of Mali theater from St. Petersburg, he once said that an actor might agree or disagree with Stanislavsky, but if he is acting correctly, he is acting according to the laws of Stanislavsky system in this broad understanding. Lee Strasberg gave an example that blood was circulating in our body and was not waiting for Dr. Harvey to explore this fact.
Yes.
So any talented actor is a source of fantastic information about how objective laws of nature are operating in the moment of acting. And so whenever you are underlining that is Stanislavsky, or you are trying to hide this fact from your students because of some reasons, if you are in a track of finding something objective which is based not on your own aesthetic taste or in your vision of theater. Now we're talking only about actors training, not about director's profession. But if you are talking about something which connected with objective things, then it's a synonym for today's understanding of Stanislavsky system. At least that's my practical experience.
Yes. Yeah. How much are they aware of it? Is it part of their teaching when they're a high school student?
I think they do know the name of Stanislavsky because it's a kind of a hot currency of Russian culture, but I'm not sure that they really have read some of his books or seriously explore them, because frankly speaking it's very difficult reading for those who are not in the profession. It's even boring reading. But when you are in a profession and when you have troubles, when you are unable to find decision for this particular rehearsal day or for this particular scene, and you open Stanislavsky writings, which is not a system of answers, but rather a system of questions, then it's quite an encouraging thing for you, because you are able to see that this genius man also had problems, and he had different solutions in a different period of his career. So, just to answer shortly for your first question, I think that students, the freshman students who are coming to the academy, just do know the name, but that's it.
So,
Stanislavsky had a very specific word for actors training. Actors drill, like, you know, in a hard military service. So and this is actually the boundary between trained and untrained actor. Trained actor have this addict, became an addict of everyday drills of his body, of his voice apparatus, of his physical instrument. And again, you can name it according to Stanislavsky, or you can use some of methods which are derivative from initial impulse. The main question, whether you are on territory which in our days, in 21st century, we are labeled as Stanislavsky system in the modern sense of word, whether you are in this territory and you are struggling for objective research of your individual actors apparatus and just in broader sense of human nature, or you are fascinated with some tools, devices, which might be wonderfully working for this particular play, but will not give you a good result in another play. Because you are asking all the time about student experience.
yes.
I should say that when I was a student, none of my students, none of my teachers emphasized, look, this is exercise from Stanislavsky, this exercise of from Meyerhold. Only when I started teaching, it was a necessity for me to trace this line of heritage and this line of succession of different methods. But the reason why it was not emphasized all the time and not traced during the training of the students, because all of the things were in a territory of this research of human nature, and that's the main thing about Stanislavsky system and the main passion of this concrete person.